The average man doesn't even want to hop in the arena, right? The average man doesn't even want to participate, right? While everybody is, in the stands, being a victim while they eat their popcorn and everything, while they watch the real winners in the arena do things with their lives, the average man doesn't want to lock in, right? Doesn't want to lock in because they are obsessed with mediocrity, right? They're obsessed. See, the average man has a dad bod, believes he's a victim, can't even bench 225, can't even do 10 push-ups, can barely do a sprint. They don't even sprint past the age of 30. Like, this is who you're competing with. The bar has never been lower in 2025, going on into 2026, and it's probably going to get worse. If you look at these statistics, right now, it says the average person, at least in the West, is overweight, or the average person has a dad bod, right? You even look outside, you go outside to your everyday mall, you go outside to the Walmarts and all this stuff. How many people do you see that are actually in shape, actually jacked, right? Like, the average man is not locking in, right? And it's because the average man lacks the motivation. The average man lacks the willpower to do so, right? And it's actually not their fault. It's actually not your fault if you aren't locked in, right? The reason why you're not locked in is because you don't have the right fuel, right? You're like a car without gas, right? You're like an engine that has no fuel in it. There's nothing to fuel you, right? And I've talked about this concept in other videos, right? Where I talk about finding the right fuel to drive you forward, right? And I talk about this concept of finding enemies. You need an enemy that's going to push you to go after your goals, push you to get on your fitness journey, to push you to actually lock in, right? Because locking in, in order to lock in, you need to have the right amount of logic and emotion to actually lock you in, right? And before I get into this concept a bit further, I just want to say, if you want to book a one-on-one consultation, hit the link in the description. I'm the guy for that. We'll see if it makes sense to work together so that you can build a physique that commands attention and never bores the audience, right? And if that sounds like you, hit that link in the description, either the first link in the description or the link in the comment section. Little shameless plug. Make sure you like and subscribe while you're at it. But like I was saying, the only way to lock in is you need an enemy, right? You need an enemy that's actually going to drive you forward, right? And what do I mean by this? An enemy of what kind? An enemy can literally be anything. It can be a person, it can be a place, it can be situations, it can be literally anything, right? And I got this idea from the book inspired by Patrick Bet-David's Choose Your Enemies Wisely. You guys should all check out that book. It's pretty interesting. It talks about how, people use different enemies to actually drive them forward. They need enemies. They need pain points to actually bring them from one state to another, right? So, for example, I've told this story a bunch of times where, some guy roasted me because I was wearing a tank top, and he says I'm not jacked enough to wear a tank top, right? And that it pissed me off because he roasted me, and I was like, okay, I'm going to prove him wrong so that I can actually earn the right to wear this tank top. And maybe one day if I run into him, he'll see me, and then I can mog this guy, right? Long story short, I got in some decent shape, and I don't even remember what this guy looked like or who he was, or all I remember was his words, right? But the point of it is that you outgrow enemies. You only use enemies for a season to get you to a point that you need to, once you get to that point, you don't need the enemy anymore. You just naturally build that discipline for it. It's become a part of your lifestyle. It's become a part of you, right? And the reason why the average man can't lock in is because that's the thing. Here's the thing about this is that everybody has enemies. Everybody has things that piss them off. There's always, because in this world, there's a lot of negativity, right? There's one thing that wherever there's light, there's always darkness. You can't escape it. It's that the average man doesn't know how to channel these emotions. Like, you watching this right now, you don't know how to channel these negative emotions that you probably experience every day. You don't know how to challenge. You don't know how to take these enemies and use it to your advantage, right? Like, I was using enemies. I think it just happened by accident. I just had the right enemy at the right time, and then it just clicked for me, and then it just happened, right? And then I got motivated to get on my fitness journey. For some people, it doesn't work like that. For some people, these enemies that they have in their life, they don't come at the right time. And sometimes it's like an equation that happens at the right time, like a chain reaction, right? Sometimes that chain reaction doesn't happen for people at the right time for them to ignite a flame, right? It's kind of like the chemicals don't come together at the right time for it to actually cause that explosion of motivation for you to go after your goals. Some of you guys kind of need a little bit more of a push, kind of need a little bit more of that guidance. And that's why videos like this exist, right? So, me telling you this right now, might make you realize that you need an enemy to actually push you forward. I know 100% of you guys have these enemies. You just haven't used them in the right practice, right? So a little actionable step you can take is, really be a little bit introspective and think about the last time somebody like kind of pissed you off. You got to think about what triggers you, what gets you angry. What is something that someone said to you time ago? And I know, don't pretend and act like you don't remember what it was, because I know you remember what it was, because a lot of times it's crazy to think about it this way, but a lot of times negative things or bad experiences, they stick out like a sore thumb. It's things that you can't forget. Like, I know you guys have these things, you just are not using them, right? So the average man doesn't use these things to drive them forward. So like, a little actionable step is to think about the things that pissed you off. Think about like people who maybe made fun of you. Maybe someone made fun of your weight. Maybe someone called you scrawny. Maybe someone, laughed at you when you tried to do a push-up or whatever. Maybe some shorty rejected you. You gotta really channel this energy, right? Write it down if you need to. Use it as fuel, right? Like, do this little exercise. Write down at least 10 enemies, 10 things people said to you, some kind of thing that triggered you or pissed you off. Use it as motivation to push you forward, right? And I know there's going to be some dweeb or some dork in the comments who's going to be like, oh, that's not the right way to see motivation. It's supposed to be positive. Well, like, if you're looking for some Disney Channel answer, this video is not for you. I'm not here to give you the sugar-coated Disney Channel, like, go lucky, happy. Nah, bro. Like, this is real shit that actually works, right? I'm here to tell you from my perspective what actually has worked and what I've seen work. I'm not here to tell you no Disney Channel answer here, right? So if you want like to actually reach your fitness goals, you're gonna have to dig deep and channel that and channel those dark emotions, channel that darkness within you so that you can actually reach your goals. Use it for something positive, right? That's why you see all these guys with these Sigma males and stuff, they got their hoodies on, you know what I mean? Like, they use that dark energy to push them forward. They use that kind of like, they use the enemies. Maybe it's a shorty that broke them, maybe it was someone dissed them, whatever case may be. You need to use these as fuel. The only mistake you can go with this though is that if you don't outgrow enemies, at some point that shorty who rejected you 5 years ago should not be driving you today, right? You should have already been working out for you now. The goal is to use the enemy for a season and then have your fitness journey or whatever goal you're working on become a part of you, become like something that you're disciplined at. It's already become a part of you to the point where that enemy isn't driving you anymore. It doesn't care. Like, you see shorty who rejected you, you don't care anymore because it's not driving you anymore, right? That enemy isn't driving you to do that thing anymore. You do that thing because now it's become a part of your identity. It's become something that you actually enjoy, right? That's the thing I'm trying to get to your heads, right? I think some people have this misconception where they think that the enemy is supposed to drive them for life. Nah. It's only for a season to get you to the destination. Once you're at the destination, you already have that discipline, that motivation on autopilot, because it's something that has become a part of you and something you enjoy, right? And if you need help implementing this sort of thing in your own life, you need help coming up with these enemies, you need help fixing your mindset so that you can actually lock in and get in the best shape of your life, hit the link in the description. We'll see if it makes sense to work together so that you can build a physique that actually gets choosing signals and never bores the audience and gains respect, right? So if that sounds like you and you're serious, hit that link in the description. We'll have a little conversation, and if you're selected, we'll work on, like I said, the mindset, your nutrition, and the training plan, and all of those things of that nature, right? So if that sounds like you, hit that link in the description, either the first link in the description or the link pinned in the comment section. And yeah, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember, there's nothing enlightening about playing small. I'm gonna catch y'all. See ya.